Let's cross now to Benedict Pavio in London, who's in front of St Thomas Hospital, where the Prime Minister is currently being treated. Benedict, have you got any updates in regards to the Prime Minister's condition?
Well, I wish I could give you the latest update, but we're all waiting with bated breath, as the country is very much, for that latest health bulletin of Boris Johnson. What we have learnt this morning is that he is not, repeat, not on a ventilator, nor has he been intubed. So it was that sudden announcement last night that, of course, his health had deteriorated and that he'd be moved here in St Thomas's for that second night here, and he was actually in the intensive care. And of course that set quite a lot of alarm bells ringing. But of course thousands of people in this country are going through the very same problems, either personally or their families or their friends. And so this is something that, if it were needed for a very public message to be sent to the population that anybody can catch COVID-19, I think this is a very powerful message being given by the Prime Minister himself. Of course, many people expressing wishes across the political class that they very much hope that he'll have a speedy recovery. Lots of questions about the fact that whether he hindered his own recovery. He tested positive over 11 days ago now with COVID-19. Should he have stopped working so much? He was working very long hours, and it was those persistent symptoms that we were told about on Sunday, for which he was admitted to hospital initially, a persistent cough and a temperature. And he had looked quite rough or poorly in a video, certainly on Friday. But of course, only on Thursday night, he was outside his own front door, so to speak, in 10 Downing Street, and clapping the National Health Service. The National Health Service, who is really helping him, everybody hopes here, in this hospital to get better.
Now, Downing Street is saying, Benedict, that Dominic Raab will deputise for the Prime Minister when need be. So how is the government actually operating in Johnson's absence?
Well, as you said absolutely correctly in your cue, Annette, you talked about where necessary, and I think that's interesting. It's again an impression, I think, that Boris Johnson was even trying to give yesterday afternoon from his hospital bed, that he was in good spirits, he had good morale, that he was in touch with his ministers, and basically that he was still running the country. And there has been, it has to be said, sensitively, but nevertheless, criticism of the fact whether he really didn't take this seriously enough, and whether he has, as I said, hindered his own recovery so far, and that perhaps he wouldn't be in intensive care right now had he socially distanced. For example, in cabinet meetings, it was noticed that the cabinet were not socially distancing. Parliament is in recess now, but they were not socially distancing in Parliament either. There has been public criticism about that. But overall, the political class have really rallied together, and it is not a time to score political points. It's very much a time of consensus, and I think that the new Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, only elected on Saturday, very much reflects that, where he said all our thoughts are with the Prime Minister and his family at this difficult time. This is a national crisis, and the Labour Party will act in the national interest, working constructively with the government. So a government led for the moment temporarily as necessary by the Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab, although this is not a foreign policy problem, it's a sanitary problem. And the latest British politician, breaking news here, to now be self-isolating, Michael Gove. Michael Gove, who is at home since yesterday, who has not had, I understand, a COVID test, but he is self-isolating because a family member has symptoms. COVID-19 can reach anybody. Stay at home, save lives.
Benedict Pavio reporting there from London. Thank you.